What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. I got really lucky today. I was toy hunting, naturally, for Batman the Animated Series figures. And I walked into a location I've never actually been in, which was surprising because I think I'm up to like 17 tours now. And this store had an old school Poison Ivy in the red packaging. I'm so excited. I couldn't wait to get it home, get it unboxed for you guys, get it on the channel so everybody could take a look. If you guys liked the video, hit the like button for me, smash the subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let's get into it.
It's so sad.
Why, Isley?
Oh, please, call me Poison Ivy.
I absolutely love how maniacal and crazy Poison Ivy can actually be. She's such a great character from Batman the Animated Series. When I saw this figure in the store the other day, I immediately jumped on it. I was able to get it for $31 Canadian, which is crazy. When I look at this figure on places like Amazon or eBay, she's going in the $200 to $250 range, which is insane. That's something I could not justify. But getting her in hand, she's beautiful and she definitely fits with the character lineup that I've got going on so far. Now, she's actually my second Poison Ivy in the collection, but I've really been searching for these red box figures because these were kind of the original lineup. Now, McFarlane has announced that they're going to come out with their own set of Batman the Animated Series figures. But I like these. These are the traditional. I like the scale as well. This comes in the box, so it shows just some of the other figures that were in this particular line, which is interesting. I've got this Riddler. I've seen that Catwoman before. This Two-Face for me is big. I really, really want to get that Two-Face. But even he goes for an astronomical amount of money. Same with the Bane. Although I found the Killer Croc at a Superstore grocery store tucked in the back aisle. So you never know when you're going to find these guys. So if these lineups kind of tickle your fancy, as one would say, definitely jump on them when you can, especially if you find them for a good price. Now, the accessory instruction sheet that it shows you here really just kind of shows you how to swap the hands. I would definitely recommend having a hairdryer available just in case. The pegs are really tiny, as you can see on the hands here. And Poison Ivy here doesn't come with a lot, but she does come with her flower pot, and these flowers are really cool. It's a good little accessory. I like that the roses actually move in the pot. I think that it's well painted, and this flower pot is introduced in the first episode that we get to hear Poison Ivy announce her name when she's talking about Harvey Dent.
Murder, of course. Plowing up a field of beautiful wildflowers for that silly penitentiary of his. This little rose would be extinct today if I hadn't saved my precious from those horrible bulldozers.
Now, moving on to the figure itself, I do really like the color of this particular outfit. There were two iterations of Poison Ivy. So in Batman the Animated Series, in the first and second season, we got a chance to see Ivy here in this color outfit. And this feels very classic to me. I really liked the art style back then of season 1 and 2. As Batman the Animated Series continued to become popular, shift directions slightly, the color palette really started to gray out. And in the third season and the fourth season, she became essentially the other figure that I've got in my collection. I'm going to show that to you in a few minutes. Now, the articulation on this figure is not terrible. I don't love some of the joints that are seen here, but again, for the cost of the figure, especially at her time of release, is very passable. And they've painted them well. What I would recommend if you get this figure in your hands, be really careful. The paint does tend to wear slightly. And I've already noticed a couple of chip flakes kind of float down to the white table, especially after I've bent her knee. Actually, you can see it here in the knee, just ever so slightly at the joint, a little bit of missing paint. So again, just be really careful. For me, these are mostly display figures, not necessarily play figures, right? Like I'm not gonna mess around with them too much. I'm gonna find some good poses that I like them in and leave them at that. Now, the head swivel on this gal is epic. She could practically touch her chin to her chest. But I also realized that the peg has got kind of a slot in the front to be able to do so. Interesting design. although I am noticing that it's a little bit loose at the neck peg there. So I wouldn't want to mess with that all that much, because I honestly think it would get to the point where it wouldn't hold its shape or form any longer. So be careful there. You always hate to see it drop. You hate to see it. It hurts the soul just a little bit. Let's get into some better posing though, if I can. Again, the articulation here is a little bit challenged, but she looks pretty cool waving. I like that she can hold her own flower pot. I think that that's kind of a cool little look for her. I think this may actually be how I display her in my collection, with kind of the lineup of Rogues Gallery that I've got kind of building so far in my collection. So that's cool. Let's pull out the other Poison Ivy and take a look with her as well. So look at the difference here in terms of the color palette, the way the hair is styled. The over-sexualization, honestly, of the later version of the character is also really interesting, especially when you see them side by side like this. Now, Poison Ivy's always been a bit of a sexual character, let's be honest, but I feel like they really amp that up when you see them, especially side by side. The way that their hips are styled, the way that their legs kind of bend at the bottom. The newest Poison Ivy, you can make her knees almost touch and still stand, whereas the older school gal here can't really do that. Booty-wise, I'd say the old girl still has the win on that if you're comparing figures this way. But again, I think it's kind of cool just to see the level of separation and how these characters were drawn as the evolution of the character kind of grew in the series. And I have to say, in terms of preference for each, the green pops. I like the color palette of the original way more, and I just like the art style of the original way more. Maybe I'm just old, but we can, that remains to be seen. I wanted to post them like this because I could just picture two Poison Ivies dancing in the club. Thought it was kind of funny, so I had to include it for you folks. Now let's get her posed up with Killer Croc. As you can see, Killer Croc is a massive dude, and he can hold on to these gals no problem at all. I think that this is such a fun way to pose these characters, especially since this Killer Croc was displayed in the lineup of figures that come with this particular Poison Ivy. Now, I think the colors still go really well all together. So whether you're a fan of the older school animation and color palettes, or you like the kind of newer Season 3, Season 4 version of Poison Ivy and some of the characters, even Mr. Freeze had a dramatic change. The Joker had a dramatic change, to the point where I actually really hated the look of Joker as the series got kind of older and through its progression. But ultimately, I really like this figure, so I'm really happy I got this in my collection and found it for a sweet deal. What are your thoughts, guys? Do you like this figure? Do you like this Batman animated series lineup and series of videos? I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. If you like the video, hit the like button for me, smash the subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next Batman animated series figure video if I can find a few more. Thanks for watching, everybody.